today we're going to compare and order numbers. In order for us to compare and order numbers, we need to know our basic vocabulary. So in math, when we think of comparing, we think of compare as to describe whether numbers are equal to, less than, or greater than each other. Now when we have equal to, we have an equal sign. Less than is an arrow, kind of an arrow facing towards the left, and then greater than is an arrow facing towards the right. Order is a particular arrangement or placement of things one after the other. So simple order, we have 1, 2, 3. Or another example would be A, B, C, and we can keep on going. D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V. It would be a specific order in which things need to be in. Okay, so here we have the following numbers. It says compare the following sets of numbers. Write less than, greater than, or equal to. So our first number here is 631,640. Our second number is 640,009. So I'm going to do this by using a place value chart. Now when we use a place value chart, as you can see right up here, we have our ones period, which has ones, tens, and hundreds. Then we have our thousands period, which has thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. Then we have our millions period. Our millions period has 1 million, 10 million, and 100 million. So I'm going to use this place value chart here, and I'm just going to rewrite the numbers. So I'm going to start with our first one there, 631,000. And so I'm going to go to the 100,000 place, and I'm going to write 631,640 there. And then right underneath that, it's still in the same area where I'm looking at the same columns, I'm going to write my second number, which is 640,000. I forgot my comma in there. Comma, 0 hundreds, 0 tens, and 9. Okay, so now they're sitting on top of each other. It's a little bit easier to compare our numbers. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to compare starting with our highest number, or our highest place value. Our highest place value in this case is our 100,000. So we're going to look here. We see that 6 and 6, they are equal. So we're going to move to our 10,000s. Our 10,000s place, we have a 4 and a 3. Because 40,000 is more than 30,000, we know that 640,009 is going to be the greater number. So coming back over here, we're then going to write our answer here as less than. Because 631,640 is less than 640,009. Now, we're going to come down here to our second one here. We have 56,991, and we have 52,880. I can do the same thing with the chart, or I could just compare them not without using a chart, but I still want to put them on top of each other because it makes it easier to see. So I'm going to take my 56,991, and I'm going to put it on top of my 52,880. Now, once again, I'm going to just compare our digits, starting with our largest number. So way over here on the left here, we have our 10,000s. We're going to start with our 10,000s here, and we have we have a 5, and we have a 5. Because 5 and 5 is equal, we move on to the thousands. Then we have a 6, and we have a 2. Well, because 6 is greater than 2, we know that 56,000 is going to be more than 52,000. So our answer is then going to be greater than, or 56,991 is greater than 52,880. Now in our next example here, we are going to order from least to greatest. So as you can see right over here, we have a set of numbers. In between each number is a semicolon. The semicolon separates one number from the next in our set of numbers here. So in this set, we have 41,090, 41,190, and 40,009. And we're going to order these from least to greatest. Now, just as I did with comparing the numbers, I personally prefer to write them down in order where they're by place value, and vertically by place value. So, I'm going to go 41,090, and then I'm going to do 41,190, and then I'm going to do 40,009. And the reason I like separating them in this order, putting them on top of each other, is because it's easier to see through each of our place values which numbers we have that are higher, and to compare the place values. And so I can do this by looking here. We have our 4s. Because all of them have 4, we move on to our thousands place, and we have 2's that are 1, 2 1s and a 0. Now because I'm looking for least to greatest, because 0 is less than 1, I know that this 40,009 is going to be our first ordered from least to greatest. So we're going to have 40,009 point comma, which technically I could do either a point comma or there, or meaning a semicolon, or I could do is less than there, a less than sign there. And then we continue looking over here at our numbers here. So then we have just these two here because we're done with this one. So we only have these two here. So we're going to move over. Oh, we have a 0 in the hundredths column. We have a 0 and a 1. So our 0 is going to go next. And so we have our 41,000 and 0 hundreds and 90, or 41,090 that goes next. So now that I have 41,090 on there, it's not gonna. Yeah. Now I have 41,090 on there. I'm going to then write in our last one there. 41,090 is going to be less than 41,190, because that's our last thing in which we have here. So I'm going to get rid of that really fast, and then we're going to go is less than 41,190 becomes our answer. And that is ordered from least to greatest. Now down below here, we have order from greatest to least. So now we're going to look for the greatest numbers. And on this one, I'm not going to go ahead and write them one after another. I'm just going to look at the place values. So if I look right here, my first number here, we have 20,650. On my second one, I have 21,150. And on my last one, 20,890. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the 10,000 spot, because that's where we begin here on the left. So here I have a 2, and on my second number I have a 2, and on my third number I have a 2. So because they're all equal, then I need to move into the thousands position. So I look at the thousands position. I have a 0, I have a 1, and I have a 0. Now because I'm going greatest to least, I can take my greatest. So since 1,000 is more than 0 in our thousands place, we know that 21,000 21,150 is going to be in our first section. So I'm going to go ahead and write this over here. 21,150. Kind of worked. And then we're going to look at our second one here. I'm going to replace that 5 because that didn't come in very well. There we go. Then we're going to come over here and we're going to look at our hundreds column. So here we have our hundreds column. We have a 6 here, 600 here. We have 800 here. Since we're going least to greatest, I'm going to put in my semicolon, and then we're going to do greatest to least. Our 800 over here is more than our 600 over here, so 800 is going to come first. So 20,890. So we're going to go 20,890 becomes next. And then we have our last one. And put a point, comma in there, or semicolon. And our last one is going to be 20,650. And as you can see, that is now in order from greatest to least. Meaning our largest number is at the beginning and our smallest number is at the end, which would be the exact opposite of this one up here. One thing that students really get caught up on sometimes when ordering numbers from least to greatest or greatest to least is the fact that they don't read the instructions. So you want to make sure that you're reading the instructions and make sure you know whether it's greatest to least or least to greatest, because those sometimes throw people off and it makes it harder for you to figure it out what to do. And that's how we compare numbers.